In this video, I'm going to discuss how to navigate through your online microbiology course. So this is your main landing page when you come to my microbiology course in Blackboard. This is what you're going to see. If you scroll down, you'll see any new announcements that are posted. This one just gives directions on how to get started with the course, but as we go through the semester, more and more announcements will be posted. The next thing you're going to notice is the syllabus tab. In the syllabus tab, you're going to find the syllabus, and then my instructor drop and census reporting policy, and then how to communicate with me, your instructor. In the textbook information tab, you're going to find information about how to order your textbooks for this course. Since this is an online course, you will need the textbook with the Connect Access code. The Connect Access code is going to allow you to access that textbook virtually, but also complete your online lab assignments. So it's essential that you get that access code when you purchase the book. There's some information provided of how to purchase that book as well. About your instructor, so this is me, I'm Dr. Dutton, and a little bit more about me if you're interested in learning more. Once you get to the learning modules, this is where you're going to find the majority of the instructional content for this course. It starts off with some directions and then some supplemental items. In the supplemental items, you'll find some additional YouTube videos and some extra practice stuff. Everything in that folder is completely optional. There's nothing in here that's graded, but it's just extra stuff that might be helpful to you in this course and in your futures. Then we get to the first module here, which is a pre-work module. The pre-work module should be completed before you start class. So before the very first session or before the course start date, this pre-work module should be done. If it's not done, that's no problem. You'll just have to try to get it done on that first day of class. So when we look inside the pre-work module, there's some directions of how to complete the module. And they're listed in steps. So step 1, you're supposed to watch this video. Step 2, you're supposed to learn how to navigate the course, and there will be this video that I'm recording right now will be found right there, and you'll be able to click on that. Step 3 is to review the microbiology course syllabus. This is a course link, so if you click on this, it'll take you right to the microbiology syllabus location. Step 4 is to purchase your textbook. Again, this is a course link, so if you click on this, it'll take you back to the textbook tab where it gives you information of how to purchase the book. Step 5 is to download the Respondus Lockdown browser. You will be required to verify your identity for taking the final exam in this course. So I have all students do this on the first, before they even get started with the course, and kind of troubleshoot it and figure this out now, so that when it comes time to using this for the final exam, they're ready and they're prepared and all their issues have already been worked through. Respondus is a little bit tricky. Some devices work, some don't. Chromebooks are pretty bad with Respondus Lockdown browser. But if you work with our tech support or Tech Central, they should be able to troubleshoot those issues with you. And then you want to take this Respondus verification quiz just to kind of practice running through how to use Respondus. Step 6 is to complete the laboratory safety training. Although we're not actually going to be physically in a lab, we still need to complete the lab safety training. The lab safety training is a series of slides and bullet points that will talk about the safety guidelines for an actual microbiology lab. And then there's the quiz. It is a course competency that we talk about laboratory safety, so I have included it in this module here. Then you want to complete the training for success in online science courses. Many of you are familiar with online courses. Some of you have never taken an online science course before. So in this training, it'll kind of give you some tips and overviews of what you can expect to find in an online course or science course. And this accompanying quiz goes with the PowerPoint. Step 8 is to complete the pre-work lab. The pre-work lab is just a guided tutorial that shows you how the McGraw-Hill labs work. Since you would have already purchased your textbook and your Connect Access, then you should be able to complete this pre-work lab. In order to complete the labs, you click directly on this first lab, and then it will take you to the McGraw-Hill website. At that time, it'll ask you for your login information, and if you haven't created a McGraw-Hill account yet, you're going to have to submit your code or enter your code, or you're going to have to purchase access to McGraw-Hill so that you can get into the lab interface. So this all kind of goes hand in hand with purchasing the books. You always want to enter McGraw-Hill from Blackboard. That way, when you complete anything in McGraw-Hill Connect, the grades auto-populate in the Blackboard gradebook. The last thing is you should attend a mandatory orientation meeting. This orientation meeting will be different for each section. So for this section, it happens to be this. For your section, you want to pay attention to when that mandatory orientation meeting is. You're going to click on the Zoom link that's actually provided in your mandatory orientation meeting information, and then that will take you to the meeting. You have to attend one of the sessions, and usually I offer a morning and an evening session on the same day. And if you don't attend one of those sessions, you could be at risk of getting dropped for the course. So you want to make sure that you attend one of those sessions. So that's the pre-work module, and now we're going to go through a typical module. So learning module 1 begins with a case study, and the case study has to do with the content that you're going to be learning about in this module. There's a study guide, and then you want to focus on that study guide while you're paying attention to the lectures. Lecture content is divided into 2 parts, Part 1 and Part 2, for each one of the modules with the exception of Module 7. Part 1 and 2 are divided because different lab concepts go with those different parts. If you're in the full 14-week course, then you will be completing Part 1 in 1 week and Part 2 in the next week. If you're in a condensed course or a 7-week course or 10-week course, then you have to pay special attention to the due dates because you might end up going through both parts within 1 week, and that depends on how the course schedule kind of lays out. So you definitely want to pay attention to the syllabus, kind of follow along of where we are with the course. Then we have 2 different options here for completing labs. Now these aren't optional, you actually have to complete them, but there's different ways that you complete the lab. So for graded lab 1, what you would do is you would click on this blue link and a Word document is going to pop up. You're going to fill out that Word document, follow the directions in there. It's kind of like filling out a worksheet. And then when that worksheet is complete, you're going to save it to your computer. You're going to go up here. You're going to click on this. And then you're going to go browse local files and look for that worksheet that you just saved to your computer. And then you want to remember to click Submit so that you can submit that assignment. Some of our labs are not comprehensively covered in the McGraw-Hill Connect interface. So I did have to write up some separate Word document labs, and these will kind of fill in the remainder of the course competencies. So this graded lab 1 talks about an introduction to microbiology and lab safety. So this is something that's kind of separate outside of McGraw-Hill. The other type of lab that you'll encounter in this course is the McGraw-Hill lab. In the pre-work module, you already had experience with completing one of those. So to complete this, you just click on it, click through the lab activity, and then click to submit. There's a Quizlet. The Quizlet is going to allow you to practice the terms from the study guide, and all the definitions are already prepared for you. If you're not familiar with Quizlet, Quizlet is virtual flashcards. So I had a work study student of mine put these flashcards together, so you'll just click through and you will study those terms as you go through. Then there's a lecture test and a lab test. The lecture test covers predominantly the lecture-related topics, and the lab test covers predominantly lab-related topics. For the lecture and lab test, these tests come from much larger test banks. You get randomly selected so many questions from that test bank, and then you will get that time amount or that time limit in order to take the test. For these, you're allowed 2 attempts and your best attempt counts, but you always want to read the description to make sure that you have enough time to complete the tests in the time that you've allotted yourself. So once you read those descriptions, then you can go ahead and take those tests. The tests are completed online completely in Blackboard. You're just going to answer the questions right here in Blackboard. And then the final lecture exam does require Respondus, and that's why I have you guys practice Respondus in the pre-work module. But this is how every module is basically laid out. It's a patient scenario or a case study. You get a study guide, you get lecture content, some labs that go with that lecture content, some more lecture content, some more labs that go with that lecture content, a Quizlet to practice, and then you get the module tests. So as you can see, there are 7 modules. The 7 module covers infectious diseases and also contains your final exams for the course. You want to make sure to follow all directions as you're going through the labs and through the activities in the course, and pay close attention to the due dates in your syllabus. Some other things that you're going to find in the Blackboard page is the virtual meeting room. If you ever have to meet with me virtually, or if you want to attend my office hours, you can always meet with me in this virtual meeting room. We would have to prearrange a time if it's outside of my office hours, but you want to click on this, and then you just click on the link in order to join. Email. So email is how you would contact me or any of your classmates. Email through Blackboard allows you to select the participants that you want to reach out to and contact. This email function is really the best way to email me because it directly ties your course section number, which is your course section number up here, to that email. If you email me just outside of Blackboard, just through your regular student email, please include your course section number 806-197-3W7A, for example. For this course, every course is going to be a little bit different, but you can kind of see the numbers that I'm looking for here. And that way I can know what section you're talking about and answer your question a lot faster. This discussion board is optional. There are no assignments on the discussion board. If you guys want to discuss things amongst yourselves, you can definitely have this to discuss. I won't be checking the discussion board unless you tell me to or ask me to, but that's just kind of for you to practice with or talk to each other or do whatever you want with. My Grades tab. The My Grades tab gives you your current grade in the course. You want to look at that weighted total percentage and then compare it to the grade scale in the gradebook. Since most assignments are going to be due on Sundays, Mondays are my huge grading days. So Mondays are when I go through and I update the gradebook. So you can always depend that on Tuesday your grade is for sure accurate. Mondays though, I'm still updating grades. So if you don't see something updated after Monday, then you can feel free to reach out to me by email and inquire about that assignment. Student Resources tab gives a whole bunch of additional resources that will help you be successful. There's information that will help you in at the college in general that'll help explain what the weighted total grade is. If you've ever wondered what grade you need on the final exam in order to get a certain letter grade in the course, there's a video in there that will explain that to you, that weighted total video. The Diversity and Inclusion tab is something that I strongly encourage all of you to look at. This talks about diversity and inclusion specifically in the sciences. So go ahead and take a look at that, review it, and feel free to join some of those associations that try to increase diversity and inclusion in the field of science. So that's basically the course overview. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me in my email, and I hope you guys have a great semester.